Welcome to At the Disney Movies with the Harts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Today's movie is Toy Story.
Released in 1995.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
Seems like a million years ago.
It is. It's old.
So, for those of you that haven't seen Toy Story, the basic synopsis is: welcome to an astonishing world where toys play while their owners are away. Meet Woody, Buzz, and all their friends in an adventure filled with humor, heart, and friendship. Aw, that's so cute. I don't really feel like that accurately describes this movie, though.
I think
I mean, kind of, but
it's very basic.
it is a very basic description. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was like Pixar's first full-length film, and it was the first film that was completely computer generated.
I could see that. I think that sounds right. I kind of think that that's where it gets a lot of its juice from, is it being the first of its kind and all that.
So it was directed by John Lasseter, who's like the father of Pixar, basically. He's the one who got Pixar off the ground. Like, he's the head guy of Pixar. So he wrote and directed the movie. And then there's some pretty notable voice actors in it, actually.
Almost too many.
Like, I only really wrote down 3, but you have Tom Hanks as Woody, which apparently they wrote the character with him in mind.
That's fair. And he was like the biggest star in the world at this point in time.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
like
that's
right
true.
after Forrest Gump and Philadelphia and Apollo 13. Probably right around the same time as Apollo 13.
Is this right after Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump seems like such an older movie than this.
I think Forrest Gump is the year before this.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Oh my gosh, that seems crazy. And then you have your favorite person, Tim Allen, as Buzz. Not really.
Yeah.
I know that you don't really like him that much.
Yeah.
But hopefully, could you tolerate him in this part?
Yeah, I think this is actually the perfect part for him.
Because he's annoying.
Yeah.
And then my personal favorite character, and probably my favorite voice actor, you have Wallace Shawn, who's Rex, the guy from Princess Bride, the inconceivable guy, which
the
is
Zini.
Yeah, that's the guy that everybody knows him as. But Rex is my favorite character in the movie. So
I personally, I like Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good too.
I mean, he's pretty incredible, but Rex is also very, very good. And also the sergeant, the Arlie Ermy, the guy who's the military guy in everything and is the best at it.
What else has he been in?
He's the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, and his voice, and he's all over the place.
You are dumb, Private Bobbit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so I'm pretty sure I saw this in theaters as a kid when it came out.
I saw it too in theaters in high school, and we'll just keep moving on from that experience. I won't comment about anything about that.
So before watching it again, what was kind of like your initial overall impression of this movie that you remember?
I remembered it being good, but there was always this sneaking suspicion that I didn't think it was that great as everybody else did.
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I mean, it's a great movie, but I think that the best parts of this are all the detail and how cool it is and how cool it was, especially for 1995. But that's really where this movie hits for me, is all the crazy attention to detail.
Yeah.
And good dialogue, but
You're such a tough critic.
I am a tough critic.
Well, should we kind of talk through the movie, like scene by scene kind of thing?
This movie is too short.
Wait, what? I thought I would never hear you say a movie was too short.
I said that the last movie was too short for what it was,
Oh,
too.
wait, you did. All right.
There's things missing from this that could have made it.
Like what?
Just, they could have fleshed out some of the characters a little bit more to make it better. And that's my complaint for the last movie, that was this short. Like,
they do that in like the sequels to Toy Story, which are also on the list. I think they flesh out some of those other characters more.
See, and I have a feeling that I might like some of the sequels even better than this one.
Well, actually, that's what a lot of people say, is that the sequels are better
I could see
than
that.
the original.
Because, like, this movie needed an extra 10 minutes. Like, it needed to be the full hour and a half. And it's not. I can see why, though. I bet making this movie was
Well,
unreal
so
expensive.
a couple months ago, I watched that Pixar documentary on Netflix, and they talked a lot about how they made this movie and just how challenging it was, and how, like, they had to basically redo the whole thing like 3 times because they couldn't get the story right. And, like, initially Woody was like kind of a jerk, and, like,
I think he's kind of a
well,
jerk
he
in
is
this
a little bit of
movie.
a jerk in this movie, but even more so, and, like, they had to change it a lot to get better positive audience response.
As a matter of fact, every character in this story is kind of a jerk in their own way, which I like. But every single one, Buzz is kind of a jerk, Woody's kind of a jerk, Ham's kind of a jerk,
Mr. Potato
Mr.
Head.
Potato Head is kind of a jerk.
Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.
You uncultured swine. What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
Rex is a
No,
jerk
Rex
in a
is
selfish
just like
way.
a sweet little innocent child.
He's super selfish.
How is he selfish?
I hope it's not a dinosaur.
Well, yeah, he's just insecure. He's like, what if it's a mean one?
He's supposed to be a mean one.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes him so cute. He's
Yeah.
the best. So, okay, the movie starts out where basically it's just establishing that, like, Woody is Andy's favorite toy.
Yeah, Woody's Andy's favorite toy. All these toys can move. While they have their
Yeah.
meeting,
And they have...
they sneak in that they're about to move, so that's in the plot.
Right. And it's Andy's birthday. And actually, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is the very beginning, the birthday party, where they're, like, spying on Andy opening the presents with the Green Army men.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I mean, hats off to them. That's a very cool thing for them to have done.
Yeah, because it's very... It seems almost very realistic, like that if you were a toy, you would be really concerned about your person getting a replacement toy.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed that part quite a bit. And when they're like, oh, look, there's a small little package. And he's like, but it turns into like a big box.
Yeah. The little reveal of him turning around. The bed sheets.
Oh, yeah. Bed sheets. Who invited that kid?
Yeah. That's the kid that pees the bed.
I need this. I thought you might need them.
Yeah. You can never have enough.
Oh, and then the Mr. Potato Head is like, Mrs. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head. Yeah, that part's really pretty good.
Guy knows what he wants.
And then he gets
the Buzz Lightyear.
The Buzz Lightyear.
Which they don't know because, of course, something goes wrong with communications, which is perfect.
Yeah, and then...
And Buzz Lightyear is super cool. Everybody's like, oh my god, he's so cool.
Because he's like a modern, hip toy
Modern
for 1995.
Does not realize he's a toy, which is...
hilarious.
And makes that scene kind of better because it makes him that much more cool to the other toys because it's like, oh, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Rex is like, oh, I'm a Mattel toy and I'm from the subsidiary.
I'm from Play School. And I'm from Mattel. Well, I'm not really from Mattel. I'm actually from a smaller company that was purchased in a leveraged buyout.
Those are the kind of details to me that really make that movie a lot
well, and it's
better.
like the way that they use all of the different toys in the different scenes and how, like, when they're very first having the meeting and he uses, like, the talk back toy, what is that thing called? The microphone toy.
Oh, the Play School playback
Yeah,
thing?
like he uses that as like a microphone to talk to people, and they like use all the different toys to like
right, and
to utilize them like how another toy would utilize it, basically.
And they're ultra accurate to the actual toys that they are.
Like the Etch-a-Sketch. I love the Etch-a-Sketch too.
The Etch-a-Sketch, that Play School thing with the microphone. I mean, that is that exact toy. Like down to every logo, and the branding in this movie is spot on.
I wonder if they had to pay like Mattel and Play School and people for these things.
If you were them, wouldn't you think it'd be the other way around, that they're paying to have their products put in there? I mean, this is like the best possible advertising you could have.
That's true. So if you could have any one of the toys when you were a kid, which one would you want to have?
Let's see, I had like the Potato Head and the Etch-a-Sketch.
I had the Etch-a-Sketch.
I mean, I'm just not good enough to do the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Etch-a-Sketch quite a bit.
I probably would have liked the Rex the most out of them.
But clearly Woody's like very bothered by Buzz, and it goes through a couple of montage scenes where Andy starts playing with Buzz more, and all of the cowboy stuff changes over to space stuff, and
Yeah, the bed
there's like a
sheets, the
sad
posters.
song that plays.
Oh my god. The music in this movie is so terrible.
We'll get there.
I just, yeah. Who
Isn't it
decided
Paul
on
Simon?
that?
Is that who sings it?
No. It's, oh god.
Who
What
is
that
it?
guy's name?
Randy Newman?
Yeah.
Is that
Randy
it?
Newman. Which, in a kid's movie, for real, like, I don't know, man.
Well, Pixar or Disney wanted to make this movie like a musical, but Pixar was like, nope, we're not doing that. That's not what this movie's going to be. So Disney was really pushing for a musical, but Pixar, like musical style. Because during this time was when they were making, you know, like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and those were all musicals, and that's what Disney knew was successful. But Pixar was like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to make this our own way.
It was smart, and now they have no movies that are musical.
Things are happening to me. Strange things.
So music and Pixar, not a match.
No, not so much. Even though, ironically, Coco, the whole thing is like about music, which is what they chose to do.
Yeah, but we discussed about how non-memorable those songs were, and how how unimportant music was in that entire thing, really, in the end, anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's funny because that was literally the whole theme of the movie was about music, and it's Pixar. But yes, we agree, sort of. I actually like the theme song, and I don't mind the songs in this movie, but you seem to really, really not like them.
I just think that they're oddly matched. At least the artist is oddly matched.
Yeah. But so that whole song is the whole montage of all of the cowboy things being transformed into space things.
Yeah, Woody's jelly turned into a green-eyed monster.
Yeah, which, I mean, is kind of understandable.
Oh, yeah, you can't blame him. You can sympathize with the guy. I mean, he's getting taken over by a brand new shiny toy.
Who's kind of a douche.
No, he's a total douche. Doesn't even think he's a toy.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the part that bothers Woody the most. He doesn't know that he's a toy.
What are you going to do? Hit him with your flashing light?
If anybody tries to stop us, we'll blink him to death.
But that's and so that leads into our next scene where we meet Sid.
Yes, gross Scott Farkas double from Christmas Story with his little
and
he's
his
just
nasty
gross.
braces. And,
yeah.
I mean, and really, he's just like any normal, like, 12 to 13-year-old boy. This is kind of like what we do.
Is he normal?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I relate fully to the blowing up toys and being gross and...
Well, I mean, the gross part, yeah. Teenage boys are gross.
That's that part where you're not into toys and you're not yet into chicks. Like, that transition period is really normal. Where you're just kind of an animal.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, yeah, he has, like, some... I think they're, like, G.I. Joe type army soldiers. And then all the toys are watching from Andy's window because they're neighbors.
Yeah,
and
direct parallel neighbors.
Yeah, and they're... And Buzz, like, starts freaking out. He's like, there's a man down there. We have to stop him. And Woody's like, go ahead.
Yeah, go down there.
Go down there.
This is the most evil thing that we can all think of, is this toy-destroying psychopath.
Yeah, it's pretty...
So, it's a good introduction for a villain.
Yeah, it is. And it's pretty short. And then Andy's mom is like, oh, let's go to Pizza Planet. I'm tired of packing.
Yeah.
And she tells Andy that he can only bring one toy.
One toy? Will Andy pick me?
Don't count on it! Oh!
Woody hatches a plan to make sure that Buzz can't go by knocking him behind the desk.
Yeah.
A little bit of chaos ensues and he knocks him out of the window instead.
Well, the lamp knocks him out the window.
Well, it's all the same thing. I mean, it's his doing.
But his initial reaction, I think he didn't really want to knock him out the window because he was like, Buzz!
No, he definitely didn't. Woody's not a bad guy. He's jelly. You know, people make bad decisions.
Yeah, and then all of the other toys, like, well, first the RC car is like, hey, this is what happened. And then Mr. Potato Head is like, Woody's a murderer.
Yeah, they get their lynch mob going. and they attack Woody. The army men jump on him, frag him, boys. And, but then
Andy put him up
starts,
by his pull string.
Andy starts coming, so they have to stop attacking him.
Yeah, and
he can't find Buzz, and he's upset, and he's like, oh, whatever. So he just kind of takes Woody to Pizza Planet.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Buzz sees them coming out, jumps onto the minivan to hitch a ride to, I guess, get his revenge.
Yeah, well, because he knows that Woody tried to do that, so he's gonna get him basically, and he where they stop at a gas station, and
Woody dive bombs in through the sunroof.
Yeah, because Andy got out of the car because his mom was like, "Oh, help me pump gas," or he wanted to help or something. So Buzz jumps in, and they start fighting, roll out of the car, and then the car drives away.
Yep, and then they're stuck at the gas station. Woody is going to go off and look for a spaceship to fly home because he has no loyalty to Andy. Or, I'm sorry, Buzz is going to do that.
Yeah.
Woody, his laser focus is getting back to Andy. That's where his loyalties lie.
Because he's smart.
Well, he knows he's a toy.
Well, yeah, because when they drive away, he's like, I'm a lost toy.
I'm a lost.
And it's the worst thing you could possibly think of, basically. Yeah.
So Buzz is going off on his own. Woody sees the Pizza Planet truck. Of course, that sparks the idea, which the Pizza Planet truck and delivery driver thing is one of my favorite parts of this. Because it's so realistic, like that crappy truck, the crappy driver, just the whole thing is perfect to me.
Did you ever deliver pizzas?
No.
Okay.
No deliver. No deliver. But I worked at Pizza Hut when I was in high school, and that was basically how every delivery driver was. They had the same crappy car truck, just like that. It was perfect.
Well, and then the whole sequence, Buzz, we're going to be safe in the cockpit. And he, goes and,
Oh, but he got Buzz to come over because of the spaceship on top of the car.
Oh, right. Because it's.
That's how we lured him over there. Hey, Buzz, a spaceship.
That's right. And then Buzz, hops in the front. And Woody's like, no, let's get in the back. And he's like, no, we're going to be safe in the cockpit. And I don't know how the dude delivering the pizzas wouldn't see this toy, buckling the seatbelt next
there was
to him.
The stack of pizzas in the middle.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Because I was, thinking about that, and I'm like, how would he not see this toy? Oh, let me buckle my seatbelt.
Yeah, that's what it was. There was the stack of pizzas in the middle next to the sick ship.
And then Woody's in the back just getting trounced
by everything. Yeah, he got smushed by a toolbox, which to me rings true for back then. People don't even carry tools in their vehicles anymore. It's kind of funny.
One thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that originally Pizza Planet was going to be called Pizza Putt, and it was going to be a mini golf. A play on Pizza Hut.
That would be so rad in real life.
No, it really would. But they did a Pizza Planet because it would make more sense for Buzz. To see the spaceship and to go But I thought that was kind of funny. Pizza Putt making fun of Pizza Hut, but.
Maybe that's a good idea for Pizza Hut and get somebody to go there.
It really is. Or just make their pizza not taste crappy.
Good luck with that. But anyways, okay, so then they sneak into the Pizza Planet as Cup and Fries. Yeah. They sneak in there. Buzz sees the gigantic spaceship claw machine and heads right for it rather than following Woody to Andy. Woody has to follow him.
Yeah, because he sees Andy and the baby Molly, the mom. He's like, we're gonna jump in, and then he's like, God damn it, Buzz.
Yeah.
So he has to go jump in because it's a giant spaceship, but it's actually a claw machine.
Yeah,
which is the best part of the entire movie, because of all of the aliens. There's it's full of just these squeaky toy aliens who have never seen the outside, so they worship the claw.
The claw is our master. The claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
This is ludicrous.
The claw.
The visitor from the outside. The claw decides who must go and who must stay.
Buzz who's in charge in here? The claw.
Decides. Chooses. And then Woody gets in there and...
has them out. He opens the hatch, ready to take them out.
Well, he doesn't open the hatch because Sid comes. Because Sid is somehow at Pizza Planet too, the evil kid.
Yeah, which makes no sense. There's no way that kid's parents is taking him there.
I think he rode his bike. probably.
Oh, yeah,
because
maybe.
kids used to actually ride bikes and like go places.
That is
back
true.
in the 90s.
Don't tell me I did it all the time.
But he goes in there, and then Woody's like, crap, Sid, and so he like dives under, and Buzz dives under, and that's when he finds the door, and he tries to open it while Sid is like getting something, but then he has to try to grab Buzz.
Oh, and then he grabs that alien that was covering Buzz, so they have to stop.
Yeah, because then he grabs he grabs Sid like sees Buzz, and then he puts in more money.
Buzz Lightyear, no way.
Yeah, and then he grabs him, and so Woody is like trying to grab Buzz and trying to get. He almost like has him all the way down, but then all of the other the aliens are like, he must go. He's been chosen, and they like pull him, and he's like, stop it, you zealots! But then he has to go because he's connected to Buzz, so Sid gets both of them.
Yeah. And so Sid is like a wizard at this machine. Like, nobody ever gets any toys, but he nails 2 in a row.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever won anything from those toys.
Yeah.
I know that they used to have it when I was a kid, after soccer games, and we would go to Alfie's Pizza, and they had a claw machine, and we all would try to get it, and we couldn't get the dang toys out of the machine.
I don't even know what an Alfie's Pizza is.
It's
but
like
that's
a
fine.
crappy local pizza place.
So now they're going into Sid's house.
Yeah.
Takes him upstairs, and you see just like how much of a psycho he is.
Well, before he takes him upstairs, he steals his sister's, like, and it's completely different from Andy's house. Like, there's no parents around anywhere.
No.
And you see, like, things are kind of, like, shabby, and it's just kind of a gross house.
Yeah, it's all dingy on the outside. It's all broken
Yeah,
down.
yeah, and so he takes his sister's doll and, like, runs upstairs and then performs, like, a janky operation on it because he's a monster.
Yeah.
But apparently a normal teenage boy, preteen boy, whatever.
Yep.
And he takes the doll's head off and puts, like, a dinosaur head on it. And then, basically, he, like, leaves the room, and then Woody and Buzz see there's all these other toys that are, like hybrid toys, basically.
Mutant zombies.
Yeah, that Sid has made. And, oh, that's right. And they think that the toys are cannibals because they take the pieces of the doll and the dinosaur, they take them away, and then Woody and Buzz are totally freaked out because they think that these toys are cannibals, and they're like, we gotta get out of here, and then they try to escape, but there's Scud, the dog.
Yeah, Scud the dog.
Out there, and he chases them, and Woody ends up in some closet, like a storage closet, and then Buzz ends up in, like, a TV room with what appears to be Sid's dad, passed out, like, drunk, because there's beer cans on the floor watching TV.
Yep. And he sees the Buzz Lightyear toy commercial.
Yeah.
He sees himself and finally realizes that he's not a real spaceman.
Well, he's still in denial, though, because then he tries to, like,
I don't know if he's
jump.
really in denial when he goes to commit suicide.
It's not suicide.
And he jumps off the railing thinking maybe he'll fly out the window, which he absolutely knows he's not going to.
I don't think he knows at that point.
And he splats on the ground, his arm busts off, and then little Sally Lou Who, Sid's sister, which I don't even know if we know her name.
I think it's Sally.
No, okay. But probably not Lou Who.
No, that's from the Grinch, Cindy Lou Who.
She picks him up, takes him into a tea party where he's now Mrs. Nesbit.
Yeah.
I think you've had enough tea for today. Let's get you out of here, Buzz.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Well, he gets drunk on tea.
Yeah, Woody discovers him. He's drunk on tea. He's depressed. He's angry. He doesn't
Gone
know.
on a bender. He doesn't know what to do with himself.
He doesn't know what's real anymore. He's just despondent and terrible.
Yeah, his whole identity has been shattered.
Yeah. So Woody gets them out of there. Mm-hmm. Do they go back upstairs? Is that what happens?
They're already upstairs. They never went downstairs because Scud was on the stairs sleeping, and this whole thing takes place upstairs.
Yeah, I guess she picks him up and goes upstairs.
But they go back into Sid's room.
Yeah.
Because Woody has these Christmas lights that he got out of the closet, and he's going to throw them across the from Sid's room to Andy's room because their windows are perfectly next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he like gets the attention of Andy's toys and like throws the Christmas lights, but then they start doubting that he's telling the truth because they don't know where Buzz is.
Yeah.
Because they've been looking for Buzz this entire time.
And he's waving Buzz's arm out the window.
Which I was just reading that apparently that whole sequence was like ad-libbed by Tom Hanks in the booth. Like of him waving the arm around and doing that stuff. So they reanimated that whole scene.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, but they like would give him these props and he would do stuff and they basically like reanimated that entire scene.
All right, fair enough.
But it was really effective.
But then they see the fully disembodied arm.
Yeah.
And they freak out, drop the Christmas lights, and Woody's screwed now in his own mind.
Yeah, you don't know what it's like over here. Because he still thinks there's cannibals.
Yeah. Well, and there's Sid. Sid's enough, really. I mean.
Yeah, because then he comes back. Sid comes back at this point, and he has a giant rocket.
Yeah. Where's that wimpy cowboy?
Yeah, because he wants to blow up Woody, but then Woody is hiding because he tries to, like, drag Buzz with him out of the way.
Yeah, Buzz at this point is still just completely does not care.
No, not at all.
Just happy to die.
And then, so he's like, fine, you want to die, I don't care, I'm hiding. So he gets underneath, like, a milk crate type thing.
Yep.
And then Sid sees Buzz, so he straps him to the rocket, and then it starts raining.
Yeah, well, a huge thunderstorm, so he's like, sets his alarm for the morning, like, I'm gonna blow you up in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
And he, like, set the toolbox on top of the milk crate that Woody was in.
Right.
Because the toolbox stands out because it's from that Tim Allen show that you love so much.
The Binford tools from Home Improvement.
See, I didn't even remember it. You must secretly really love that show.
Well, I watched it a lot back in its day.
But basically, this is like the scene of the movie, like it's the lowest of low point in the entire movie, and then Woody has to like, you know, have like a heart to heart with Buzz, and he's like, "Oh, I admit I was jealous," and it's his like.
And he talks him into wanting to be a toy and having Andy's love be enough for him more than just a spaceman.
Yeah, because he's like, "You're a cool toy, and like this kid needs you," and then I think what happened, if I remember correctly, Buzz like looks at his foot.
Yeah, where he inscribed the Andy on there.
Yeah, and so he like starts to understand that like being a toy isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not a huge downgrade.
Yeah, so they decide to try to escape ineffectively.
Yeah, kind of a half-hearted attempt.
And because Sid wakes up.
Yeah.
And then takes Buzz outside.
Yeah, and Buzz has the rocket strapped to him, so.
Yeah. Oh, and then we didn't mention that at this point, they know that those other toys aren't cannibals anymore because the night before they had they fixed Buzz's arm.
Yeah, they put him, well, so not the night before, but it's in between the Christmas lights coming down and the kid coming in.
Oh, that's right.
They swarm him and put his arm back in socket.
That's right.
And then he straps the rocket to him.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now. So Woody devises a very elaborate scheme to like break out that involves the help of all of these toys. There's like a duck wind up thing. There's like some Barbie legs that are attached to a fishing pole.
There's a doll head that's attached to like an erector set spider kind of thing.
Yeah, and so basically they have to get the dog out of the way. They have to get outside.
Yeah, they have to distract Scud. They have to get a door open, get outside, get to the back to where he's going to be lighting off Buzz.
Yeah, which they do. And then in order to save Buzz, Woody like goes out and plays dead, and then Sid sees him and puts him like on the barbecue and gives him a match and is like, "Oh, I'll be back for you later." But then Woody starts talking.
Yeah.
And like all the toys just start coming out and they're scaring Sid. And then Woody's like, "You need to play nice with us." And then Sid just freaks out and
runs inside crying.
Has to go to therapy, which he probably would have to go anyways for.
Yeah, I'm sure this just made him a serial killer.
Alcoholic father
who's probably just Andy's dad.
Well, I mean, it is true. Andy's dad is never around.
Yeah.
Which there's pretty much two options. Either they're divorced and that's why they're moving, or he died,
I'm
and that's
sure
why
it's
they're
a
moving,
divorce.
or Andy's mom found out about that he's actually, actually it would be Sid's mom found out because or I don't know, maybe he left Andy's mom to live with Sid's mom.
It would have to be that way because, the nicer house versus the crappier house, you'd think it would go the other way.
Maybe. But, so then they just leave the toys because they see the moving van is leaving next door. So they just leave all these toys. They're like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, bye.
And they have to chase after the moving van.
Yeah, and the minivan, then the moving van.
Right.
They try and get on the moving van, and then the dog, Scud, is like chewing them off, like chewing Woody off.
Yeah, he tries to get Woody, and then Buzz like jumps on to save him, and then Woody gets on the van, and he has to try to help Buzz. So he has to like open a box, get the RC car out, and all the other toys see this, and they think that he's like
trying to get rid of RC.
Yeah, and so then they push him out of the van, but then Buzz had gotten away from the dog on the RC truck, and so he picks up Woody, and then they're like, "Oh crap, Woody was telling the truth the whole time."
Yeah, so they're going. RC runs out of batteries right as they're about to get on the truck.
Yeah.
So then they have to light the rocket on Buzz
with the match that
Sid
put in Woody's pocket.
Yeah, in his holster. That goes out. That doesn't work. But Woody had been being tortured by Sid with the magnifying glass.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And so he gets the idea of using Buzz's space helmet as a magnifying glass to light the fuse to the rocket. That works. They take off towards the moving van. They throw RC into the back of the van as they fly up over the van and then fly and land down right into the sunroof of the minivan.
But first Buzz, puts his wings out.
Oh, yeah, he puts his wings out.
Which I'm like, why didn't you just do that the entire time you had the rocket strapped to you? Because this would have solved this whole problem.
That's true.
But I guess if they didn't have the rocket, they wouldn't have been able to catch up to the moving van.
Yep, they'd have been hosed.
Well, but if he didn't have the rocket on him, he wouldn't have gotten stuck in the fence in the first place. So they would have just made it on the car and it would have been fine.
That's true.
But then, they end up in the car, and Andy's like, oh my gosh, my toys are here the whole time right next to me.
Yeah. In the box I probably just put in, which makes tons of sense.
Well, I mean, that happens a lot with little kids, though. They're like, I can't find this thing. And then their parents are like, yeah, it's there, you'll find it. And then you do find it.
I guess.
So, but it's pretty bad.
But that's the end of the movie.
Well, no, the very end of the movie is like a flash forward to Christmas. Yeah.
The Christmas scene.
And Andy's sister gets a Mrs. Potato Head doll, which is cute.
Much to the enjoyment of Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. And then Andy gets a pup.
Yeah, which everybody's like, oh no.
Well, their only real experience with dogs is Scud, so I mean...
Well, any puppy chews on stuff. I mean, really,
exactly.
If you're a toy, a puppy is your worst nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's how the whole thing played out, but...
His mom's still single.
Yeah. Well, I guess no, because there is no dad in
there's nobody else there.
Yeah, that's true. It's just so weird that they don't even explain it, like exactly what happened. I mean, I guess maybe it's not relevant
with
the story.
With like a baby.
Yeah, like they don't. It's just kind of strange, but usually they have some sort of explanations. But what was your favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part is the Buzz commercial where he sees himself and he's like, oh crap, and the drunk dad, like all in the same scene. It's great. I like that scene.
Yeah, I know you do. I think I definitely like the alien claw part the best. And really any little segments with Rex too.
Yeah, you're a big Rex fan.
I am. I think it's a really cute concept for that character.
Let's see. And we talked about the music earlier. I don't like it. Kelly thinks it's good.
I think it's suitable for what the movie is. Like when you hear that You've Got a Friend in Me song, you think about Toy Story.
Well, sure. That doesn't make it a good song though.
No, but it's good for the movie.
Okay.
Like, it accomplished its goal.
It's fair.
But as far as the animation, so this was the first ever completely computer generated feature film.
And you would think saying that it would look bad, and it doesn't. It still looks incredible.
Yeah, no, it still looks really good, and it'll be interesting to see how that changes with once we watch, the second, third, and eventually the fourth Toy Story movie.
We could watch the fourth one first. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, which would be probably kind of confusing. But
just the way the dice rolls.
Yeah. But yeah, it does look really good. There were a few sequences, like the dog looked a little bit not quite fleshed out completely.
There were a few rough parts and scenes where the animation and everything is not quite great, but it's still great.
Yeah, no, it definitely held up to today's standards, I feel like.
Which is really weird, but...
Yeah, and then for our main characters, we have Woody and Buzz.
Yep.
And apparently, for Buzz, Billy Crystal was the first choice, but he turned it down.
Oh, I could see that.
And he later went on to say that was the only thing he's ever turned down that he regrets turning down.
You know what, though? It's probably, seeing how much legs this has, it's a good thing it wasn't him. Because he was already old and his voice has probably changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Tim Allen, not nearly as old. And, his voice is very much his.
Well, and then Billy Crystal would go on to voice, like, the guy in Monsters, Inc., which is that he's that guy. Once we get to that movie, you'll kind of see. But I know you don't like it. But, what was I going to say? Oh, and then the villains, of course, we have Sid and the dog Scud. But really just Sid. I mean, that's...
No, Sid and Scud. I mean, Scud, like, is the whole villain at the end.
Yeah, and... yeah, I mean, we kind of already talked about him. He's just a gross, little troubled child.
Yeah, there's nothing really super special about him. I mean...
Yeah, but I think one of the great things about the story is all of the side characters, because, and I'm sure they get more fleshed out in all of the...
Yeah, and that was the problem with this movie being so short, is that they don't get very fleshed out in this. And that's part of the weird thing about doing this, knowing so much more about the whole Toy Story canon.
Yeah.
Is that we're like, oh, we love these side characters, but if it was just this movie, maybe you wouldn't have such fond feelings for Rex, and I wouldn't have such fond feelings for Mr. Potato Head.
I mean, that's probably true, because I think you also very strongly associate this movie with our recent vacation.
Or vacations. And, yeah, I mean, I associate Mr. Potato Head with Midway Mania. Yeah. And making fun of people in line. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Telling stupid jokes.
Yeah, I know, and it definitely... They just did such a great job with that whole expansion, like, capturing this movie and this franchise, like... There's so many... I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep making these movies, because apparently all the sequels are better than the original, and there's just so many options. Like, there's so many different kinds of toys. There's so many options that they could explore.
But they can't be Andy's anymore, right?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know that there's still Andy's in the second one, because I've only seen the second one, but it's just... The story overall is just so cute and really... I really, really like it. I liked it at the beginning, but you...
They should do a one about some nerd who keeps all the toys in boxes and for like 30 years, like, and has them on display, and then they like escape.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I don't know anything about that, but all right.
But, and I guess, I mean, the overall message of the film is just like friendship,
bro.
Overcoming your jealousy, I guess. I don't know. But so, I mean, at first you kind of said you didn't really like the movie that much.
So the more we've talked about this, I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I didn't think it was like the greatest thing of all time. But really, as we've talked about this, it's pretty great. It's
pretty awesome. It's definitely very rewatchable, and it holds up over time for sure.
Yeah. It's just not it's not, the story could use more time, but I understand why it doesn't have more time.
Yeah. Well, because it was super expensive.
It
was a new technology.
Ridiculously expensive. So, and there's really no way of knowing that this was going to be as well accepted as it was. Like, this totally could have failed. They were completely
shocked. They had no idea that it was going to be, because other than a couple years before this, they made Nightmare Before Christmas, and that was technically not, like, it was still under the Disney umbrella, but it was a Tim Burton film. So this was only the second time Disney had attached their name to movies that weren't just strictly Disney.
Right.
So they were really unsure and like I said earlier, they really wanted to make it a musical because they wanted another like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, because this was right in there. So they wanted that to follow the same formula, but so they didn't know it was going to be successful as it was, and clearly it was. Grossed $191 million. It was the biggest movie of 1995.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, do you have anything else that you want to add to it?
No, I think we've covered it really well.
Okay. What rating would you give this movie?
I gave this movie a 95.
Wow. That's really high.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, your highest rating yet.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, way high. I'm going to give this pretty close to that, but I'm going to go with 92%.
Which is your highest rating, too.
I think it is
it's
my
the best
highest
movie
rating.
we've watched.
Oh,
so.
yeah, easily the best movie we've watched. I mean, other movies like Swiss Family Robinson and Bullet Griffin have a special place in my heart, but and have made me truly a better human being for watching them. But this movie is just really awesome. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And then, so the Rotten Tomatoes score,
it's got to be in the 90s.
No.
What? Really?
It's 100%.
That makes sense. I mean,
Doesn't
there's not really a bad, other than you say it being too short and the characters not being fleshed out enough. You can't really say anything bad about this movie.
But it's just amazing to me that some critic out there somewhere was like, I don't like the movie. Because that's all it would take to make it not 100%.
Yeah.
But whatever, okay. So
but
it's
I mean,
100%.
it's so likable that it makes sense.
It's super great. So, are we ready to pick the next movie?
No.
No?
I'm never ready, but I'm also excited. It's my favorite part.
Let's pull it up here. 5.
Like singular 5?
Like singular 5. Like the 5th movie they ever made.
Yikes. This is going to be... It's probably going to be animated.
Oh, yeah, it's animated.
Oh, you already looked?
Yeah, I got it.
It's probably going to be like... I don't know. I mean, I know the first movie was Snow White. Second one was like Bambi.
Well, this is in that much in the same vein.
Pinocchio. I don't know.
Dumbo.
Ah! Oh my god. Okay.
So we know what this is about. I assume you've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah. No, I've seen it.
So 2 movies in a row we've seen.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
but I haven't seen this one in a long time, and I had recently watched Toy Story.
Yeah,
I saw Dumbo as a child, but we didn't have this movie.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been multiple decades.
But anytime it comes up now, it's just about the shame that surrounds it. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see how shameful it actually is.
So I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah, this has been At the Disney Movies with the Harts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And thanks for listening.
Bye!